these are various exam objectives where we are basically talking about the security policies and physical security, right? I think last week we were talking about something, and if you defense so in cyber security we have something called, there is a concept of defense in depth in cybersecurity. And if you are going for cybersecurity major, then definitely you will learn more about it. But even in so what is basically defense in depth they are talking about? So there are various measures you can take to protect your data, because everything, whatever we are protecting is nothing but the data, right? Keep this thing in mind, that whatever we are doing, whether we are doing a network security, it's because there is some data. If we are doing any protection of data by making copies of it, taking backup of it, because it is data. So if we are setting some access policy using this identity and access management kind of applications, it is because of data. So everything is because of data. So data, that is something you need to keep in your mind. That whatever is happening is because of it. So defense in depth is a very important topic in cybersecurity.
What are those?
The laptops for the new hires. We need to ship them out.
That did not originally exist when we thought about cybersecurity. Let's get started. Join me in the void as we begin this discussion.
See,
Let's first start.
what is the defense in depth? So you have a perimeter network, you have internal network, you have application, and you have data. In this internal network, you have this is your physical facility basically, and then it's your users and organizations, means all the individual people and which are part of some organization.
Start off and talk about why. Why do we have defense in depth? Number one, defense in depth is a mechanism to secure our entire infrastructure. It is a holistic view of the infrastructure with an understanding that there may or may not be security events occurring within that infrastructure at any given time. What does this mean? This is a concept that we actually talk about. It's called assumed breach. Basically what you're saying is, I'm assuming that there is going to be or is currently a breach in my environment. Why are we assuming breach like this? The reason that we are assuming breach is because back in the day, we had a castle model of defense. We had a castle. What that means is we had this outer layer of defenses, and then we had our network in here. You'll notice that we don't have that in this model that I'm describing to you here. The physical facility, data and infrastructure, internal network. We are looking at the network as a holistic infrastructure. We're saying, hey, these are the layers at which we could invest.
The idea here is that defense in depth doesn't only work for the network. If I ask, what will be your defense in depth concept or defense in depth application if you would like to fortify your own home? If you wanna fortify or if you wanna secure your own home, then what will be your defense in depth component? If I would like to secure this entire campus, then what will be my components of defense in depth?
Firewalls.
Think out of the box. Don't just think in the IT only. If you want to secure your home, you are not only relying on IT, but you are also looking at few other factors, right? Such as walls,
Security cameras.
walls, security cameras, locks in the doors, right? Security code or camera doorbell. You have multiple entrances in your house. You're gonna secure all the entrances, right? You're gonna put the security cameras on all the entrances so that if anyone is trying to get into your house, who is not authorized, get caught. Because for the home, I'm not bothered about my network, because securing a network in my home is next next level priority, or I would say second or third level priority. First level priority is no one should be no one unauthorized should be able to enter in my house. Now, if your responsibility is to secure the network, so now your word, your objective is to secure the network. So as you are thinking about securing entry points in your house, similarly you will be thinking about entry points of your network, and you have to secure those entry points. Now think, what can be the entry points in the network? How someone can enter in your network? Can I have the answer? How someone can enter in your network? What you need? Let's say, think about, you would like to enter in someone's network, then what do you need to enter in that network? First of all,
Password.
okay, no, that is not the first thing you need.
MAC address.
Huh?
You need a laptop.
Okay, I do. That is the basic thing. Okay, I will get it. But that is the basic thing you need, a laptop. Fine. But I'm asking, you need something to enter in this network. So you already have the laptop, and now you are trying to get into that network. So what do you need for that network so that you can enter?
Location of the router.
Okay. What do you have any answer? Anyone? It's a very simple. You are thinking a lot actually. That's why you are not getting an answer. When we think a lot, when we think deep, then we forget what is at the surface.
Getting inside the home. Front door.
What do you need, or in order to get into the home, you need a door. Isn't it? You need a door. But what is door equivalent to door in your network?
Port.
A port. A port is equivalent to door, but how do you reach at that door? Next point. Because in order to reach at that door, you need something else before. Where is my door? Where is my door? What do you need to reach at that door?
Cables.
No?
The information that, like, its name, maybe?
Huh?
Like the name of the port?
Name?
Or the MAC address? Or IP address?
Yes. Address, right? Where is my door? Door belongs to a house, and house has an address. So you need an address. That is your location where you want to reach. Then you are looking for entry point. That is your port. Can you hide the address? Can you hide the address?
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Is it? Can you hide the address?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Oh, you can't.
No, you can't. You can't hide the address. So that means everybody knows the address. Everybody knows the address. Right? Even all our data, you know that our home address, anyone can find out where am I living, or who is living at that address. If I enter an address in the county record, you know the tax and all, maybe you are too young to know that, but when you pay the property tax, you have a home, your parents have a home, when they pay the property tax, they need to put the address. And it's not a secured, or I would say it's not a website where you are supposed to create a login and then only you can see it. Anyone can go there, put the address, and it will give you the name of the person living there or who owns the property. One day someone knocked at my door, and they belong to my community, and they were asking something. Then I asked them a question: how do you know that I'm living here? So then they told me, oh, it is available at the county record. It's all available. Then I started looking from that perspective. How come he found my address? So he knows the address because address is all there. When you walk on the road, you can read what is the house number, what is the street name. Can you do that? Yes. So you know the address, but now you want to know who's living there. So you go to the county website, you put the address, it gives you the name. Next thing what you can do is you take the name and search the person on social media. What I'm telling you, this process is called reconnaissance. Reconnaissance means collecting the information about your target. Who is my target? So now you search this person on social media. Now you find many persons by that name on the social media. So you filter it by the name or city name, because every time people put their addresses also on the social media. Now you can filter the person by this name, living in this city, in this street and all that. So you can find many things or many information about someone on social media, and that will be your target. So now you know the IP address of the target. How you can get the IP address of the target? There are this, for example, this college has a website. So if you want to hack the college website, you can just do the who is. There is a who is command. You can do who is command and put the IP www.something.com. It will give you the IP address. So the website has this IP address. Okay, now you have the IP address. So website runs on a server. Website always runs on a server. Website doesn't run in thin air. Server has ports. Right? Server has a network connection. So it has ports also. When it has ports, now you need to find out which port is open and unsecured. Now your next target is to find out the open and unsecured port. So very basic ports, like you will try for FTP, you will try for Telnet, but these are very common ports. So mostly everybody blocks these ports. Nobody leave these ports open on their servers kind of devices. Right?
So is that on their computers as well, or is that only like? Because can't you can disable, like you can enable and disable Telnet on your computer, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You can disable those ports which you know they are unsecured ports. And not only that, you can also do some well-known ports. Well-known ports are like 443. 443 is for HTTPS. It is a well-known port. Well-known means everybody knows that HTTPS runs on 443. What administrators do, or the security professionals, what they do, they change the port number. No, we don't run this HTTPS on 443, we will run it on 447, or we will run it on something weird. What I'm trying to do is, see, what is the one thumb rule of security is, you have to make the break so difficult and expensive that the data or the stuff thief may get from the house or after the theft may not have enough value what he or thief spent in breaking all the locks you placed. Right? You made the break-in so expensive or so difficult that the thief has to spend a lot of resources in break-in to your house, and what he get out of it? Just a TV set. He spent $10,000 in order to break into your house, but he got $1,000 of TV set. Is it a good business or bad business?
Bad business.
Simple. So that is the idea of security. See, it is, no one can say that my environment is 100% secure. You cannot challenge it to anyone. You cannot challenge this to anyone that my environment, my network, my resource is 100% secure. It is always 99.99999. There is a scope of 0.1 or 0.001 somewhere. Right? That's why the break-in is happening in such a secured network as well. Somewhere insurance company network breach happens, somewhere bank network breach happens, even these Facebooks or Google, or they also claim that their network was breached. So that means nothing can be 100% secure. But the only point is, I need to make that break-in so hard, so difficult, so expensive, that whatever they get after the break-in doesn't have the equal value. That is the main objective we should have in our minds while we are securing any asset. Okay, you must have seen a lot of big movies where a heist is happening, right? What was the series? What was the series, right?
Mr. Robot?
No, Mr. Robot is one of them, but there was another series where a professor make a team and they did a heist in a bank by the name of Highstone. But anyways, the thing is, defense in depth is different for different environment. If you are talking about network, then your defense in depth is different. If you are talking about a physical building, then defense in depth different. If you are talking about a collection of buildings like this college or data center, then defense in depth is another level. If you go to some government agency or organization, they have various perimeters. So they have one perimeter, you have to pass it first, then they have second perimeter, third perimeter, then you reach at your destination or the building where you are supposed to go. So in order to make it so difficult for someone that he will say, oh no, leave it, it's too secure. So security policy, so every organization, they create or they make a security policy for network users. For example, if you go to the college website or SharePoint, can you use college SharePoint? Can you see or use college SharePoint? Answer yes or no.
Yeah.
But your data access is different from what I can access, right? Yeah. I can access much more than what you can access, and my supervisor can access much more than what I can access, and their supervisor can access more than that. Okay. For example, I cannot access your individual data, right? Like what all classes you are taking, what all grades you have in different classes. I cannot see that, but my supervisor can see it, right? My supervisor has 10 employees under her, and she can see all our payrolls, how much I'm getting, but she cannot see the payrolls of other departments. But there is someone in the college, like the college academic affairs has a vice president, that person can see the payroll of all the academic affairs employees, but she cannot see the payroll of let's say HR department. But there is someone like president can see the payroll for all of us. So that's the level of security, and this is called role based access. Role based access security. So in short, it is RBAS. Role based access security or access policy, whatever you say. Well, it's all. So security policy for network user identifies security goals, risks, level of authority, designated security coordinator and team members, responsibilities of each team member and employee. Now, how the system check that this person should have the access of this data, or and this person, the other person should not have the access? If I have this badge with me, right? There is a parking lot outside this building. Can you enter in that parking lot? Answer is no. But can I enter in this parking lot? Answer is yes, because I have the access with the help of this badge, right? If any guest comes in, can they access the parking lot? No, they cannot. With the help of this badge, if I touch the badge or scan the badge at the gate, the gate will open and I can enter in that area. Same thing happens when you use any network resource. So in the network, what do you do first? In order to access the network, you do login, correct? So there is a user ID, correct? There is a user ID. So every user has a policy, security policy. Every user has a security policy, and this security policy is always associated with its user ID. A security policy. So this security policy is like a badge. Every user has a security policy, and this security policy is like a badge. Now when you go to the SharePoint is an app, is an application, is a service. You go to the SharePoint, SharePoint will ask, hey, what is your user ID? What is your user ID? So what do? You present this user ID to the SharePoint. What the SharePoint will do? SharePoint will check your security policy. It is like you are presenting your badge to the SharePoint. SharePoint is checking your security policy. Okay, your security policy says that you can access these applications of SharePoint. You cannot access everything. So it provides you 1, 2, 3 services. When Sandeep goes to the SharePoint, presents its own security policy, Sandeep gets the access of some 6 services because of the security policy attached with every user. So do they create the security policy for every user, or do they create it for group of users? So they always create group, create a policy, attach the policy to the group, create a user, and add the user to the group. The moment added the user to the group, this policy gets applied to the user. Policy gets applied to the user. Same thing you can do with your ADSL router. What you can do with your ADSL router? You have a network at home. Okay, let's say the network name is my home Wi-Fi. That is the name of your network at home, my home Wi-Fi. Right? Here, everything is allowed. On this network, everything is allowed. All kinds of websites are allowed. But you created another Wi-Fi named as guest Wi-Fi. Okay, guest Wi-Fi. And you declined or denied certain websites, such as, let's say, YouTube. So you denied youtube.com on that network. So whenever guest comes to your house, you use this network to the guest, and guest cannot access YouTube because they belong to a group. That is the group for your guests. That is the group for your members, your house members. Group is, your network is like a group because you join that. You join that network, so it becomes a group. Same is happening with this college kind of environment. You will go to some job later. You are working in the company and you are working at some level. Let's say there are level 5 levels, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, something like that. So you start from level 5. So you have level 5 policies. Your account will use level 5 policies. Then you keep on promoting, upgrading or get promoted, and your policies will keep changing. So everything is associated with the policy. Policy is nothing but the set of rules. Policy is nothing but the set of rules. What you can do, what you cannot do. And remember one thing, thumb rule, which I told you last week also. Deny all, allow some. Deny all, allow some. Then only you will create a good policy. So every time we start creating policy for any set of users or any group, we always starts with deny all. We always starts with deny all. So it is like lock all the doors, and now open only where you want your guests should come in. You can't leave all the doors open in your house where the guests are coming from any direction and you cannot track them. So security is really, and now remember that security works every time. If you are, let's say you are a part of network design team, so you design the network once. You will not design the network every day. Security policy you design once, you keep changing every time, you keep monitoring your security every day, every minute, every second. So security is an ongoing process. Cyber security is an ongoing process. You can't sit back, oh, I created the policy, now I can relax. No. Once you created a policy, implemented the policy, now you start monitoring that policy. You want to make some changes in the policy. You may keep creating new policies every now and then based on the new users, new environment, everything. So it is going to be very, very important for you as well when you learn more about the security. And CompTIA has a separate course on the security itself, and that's called Security Plus. So CompTIA Security Plus is, let's see somewhere. You can search, obviously. You can search and get yourself acquainted with the Security Plus exam or Security Plus content. There is a course, if you are going for cybersecurity, or you might have done it already, or you will be doing in the next semester, security fundamentals or information security. That course is mapped to the Security Plus, CompTIA Security Plus. Okay. And definitely taking these exams will give you an additional advantage. So typical goals for security policy include the following. All these points: ensure authorized users have appropriate resource access, prevent unauthorized user access. How can I prevent unauthorized user access? The only way is deny all. Deny all, allow some. That is the same. These two lines are basically saying the same thing. Deny all, allow some. Protect sensitive data from unauthorized access. How can I do that? By creating policies and assigning the policies to the users. Remember, policies, we do not assign policies directly to the users. It always goes by the group. So you create group, you create policy, you assign policy to the group, you create users, you assign users to the group. So that's how policy will get, so policy will get associated with the user indirectly. Why we do this? Why we do this way? Why we do not assign policy directly to the user? Because that way we can keep similar policies applied to similar types of users. You all are students. You all are students. So there is a policy created for students and there is a group created for students. That policy is applied to this group. Whenever a student user is created, added to the group, do I need to assign the policy also? No, because policy is already attached to the group. The moment user is added to this group, policy is applied. Correct? Prevent accidental hardware and software damages. So if they are not able to access it, they won't be able to damage it. Prevent intentional hardware or software damage. Even if someone is intentionally wants to destroy something, damage something, cannot do that because doesn't have access. Now you may say that how hardware can be protected, because hardware is a physical thing. So hardware can be protected by preventing access to the particular room. For example, this room here, this back behind this wall there is a room. Right? We went there in that, we went to that room someday. What is there in that room? Some Cisco routers or Cisco switches, Cisco devices. If we forget this door, because this door has the access, if we forget this door, if you try to enter from the front door, you cannot, because there is a restricted access. So that's how we can prevent hardware also using these policies. By using a badge, not giving access to a particular room from this badge, you can prevent your hardware. Correct? As of now, we do not have a badge access to these buildings. Any student, even a stranger, can walk into these buildings anytime. But I'm telling you, if you go to the Georgia State University campus, if you go to the Georgia Tech, there are buildings where only and only student and staff can enter. No one else can enter. And there is a badge access point where you need to touch your badge, then only the gate will open, or you will be allowed to open the gate and then only you can enter, because that is not a restricted campus. It is a building in the middle of nowhere or the middle of the city where anyone is roaming around, so they provided secured access to the buildings. So that's how they can prevent. And even inside the building, I have seen inside the buildings there are multiple rooms, only the certain person can enter those rooms. You cannot enter every room inside that building. Even if you are a student and having a badge, even if you are a staff, you cannot enter in all the rooms. I am a staff here. If I go to the building A, there are certain restricted rooms where I cannot enter by myself. Alright, so this is how you can, and everything can be associated. You guys were not there yesterday. There was if you remember, I posted it already. There was a presentation yesterday. The person is working in an electrical company called Schneider Electric, and they are setting up the electricity for these type of buildings, right? Big buildings, university campuses, hospitals, data centers, and all that. And he was showing us that how they can control the electronic or electrical switches or electrical circuits using programs or programming. And even the access can be allowed or denied to manage or control these electric equipments. there is a switchboard or there is a control center somewhere in this building. Also, we have a mechanical room. Inside that mechanical room or electrical room, there is a big panel. On that big panel, we have a control of the entire building, right? So everything is so. What I'm trying to say is that I can prevent my hardware, I can prevent my software also with the help of these policies. BYOD, you must have heard many terms starting with this BYO. Bring your own, like BYOC, bring your own chair. BYOD, bring your own device. So BYOD is bring your own device. This policy started long back. Let's say you started a company, you're a very new company, just starting, and you want to hire employees, but you say that I will not provide you any laptop. You have to bring your own laptop if you would like to work for me. BYOD, bring your own device. We all bring our own phones, smartphones in this building. We bring all the everybody has a phone, and we are bringing this phone to this building. We have our own laptops. We bring those laptops to this building. We connect to this Wi-Fi. If we bring some kind of malware, some kind of spyware in our phones, in our laptops, and leave it in this network, what will happen? That spyware or malware will be spreaded across all the systems. It goes to the other users' phones, laptops, because it is propagating itself. So what they do is, if we have this type of environment where everybody can bring their own devices, then we need to give them the restricted access. They can get something, but they cannot give anything. Means you can get anything from the network. You want to access the network, you can. You want to do Google, YouTube, Facebook, anything you can, you are doing, you can access. But can I give anything to the network? The answer is no. You cannot give back anything to the network. And if you are giving, then it will be scanned properly, scanned by some software. So BYOD is bring your own device, and in that case it should be very well scanned. Every time you are doing any file transaction, that file should be scanned properly before sending it to the network. BYOA, bring your own application, bring your own cloud, bring your own technology, choose your own device. So these are some variations of BYOD. Part of BYOD policy might include onboarding and offboarding procedure. Sometimes companies can ask you to install a tracking software or kind of a anti-malware or anti-spyware software. They may ask you to install in your phones or in your laptops. Then only you will be allowed to use this network, otherwise you won't. Right, so that's mobile device management software. AUP, acceptable use policy. So you have to sign an agreement. I'm sure you must have signed it, but I'm sure you don't remember. We all have signed an acceptable use policy agreement when we connect to this network for the first time. But as common human tendency, we do not read those fine letters. Oh yes, accept and move forward. But one day they will come back to you and ask you, give me your laptop. Why? Because you signed it. Where? They will give you the policy and then show you that you have accepted this policy on that day. And why you are claiming my laptop? Because you are using or you are sending some malicious data to the network, or you are trying to enter or hack into my secured network. That's why. So every time we do, this is a very common thing. Every time we go to some new network, we always do this, right? And we must make sure that we are not signing anything which is not, which is legally binding. NDA, non-disclosure agreement, is a document that defines what confidential and private means to the organization. If you have any NDA, if you are signing any non-disclosure agreement, then make sure that you are signing appropriate and then you are behaving appropriately in the network. Right? Physical prevention methods. So these are some physical prevention. For example, sometimes devices are placed in the lock. Sometimes they are chained. Sometimes they are having physical lock and tied to the table. So that you cannot just pick up the device and go away. I've seen some laptops in the HR building. Building G. HR has an office in the second floor and they have a training room for the new employees. Okay, and they provide the laptops for the trainees, but those laptops are chained to the table. They fix it to the, they cannot fix those laptops to the table, but they put a wire lock. I'm not sure if you have seen that every laptop has an arrangement for the lock. Every laptop has an arrangement to place a lock. If you want to secure your laptop, then you can lock it to some pole or some table or some wall or something, so that no one can take it away. Keypad or cipher lock. So if you see, if you want to see physical lock, this kind of wire we use for laptop lock, and if you want to see how to, you can see it here.
Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to protect your laptop or screen in my case. So I'm just going to protect it with a board of MDF. Next, you want to take your angle grinder and you want to put a metal cutting disc on it. Then you just cut.
It's an access badge, biometrics, and all the phones. How do you secure your phone? Biometric or pattern, right? Or physical lock, smart locker. So these are the various ways of doing a physical prevention of your devices, or physical security of your devices. Physical detection method, motion detection, cameras, tamper detection. So these are our other methods. AAA, it's not that AAA, which is, there is an organization, AAA, right? But this is authentication, authorization, and accounting. Authentication is one thing, authorization is second, and accounting. Accounting is not the accounting of your expenses. Accounting means recording of all the activities you are doing. The moment you entered in this building, there are cameras placed everywhere and they are recording each and every step of yours. That is accounting. Authentication is you are a student, you are a valid student of this college. This is authentication. You can enter in this building or cannot enter in this building. That is authorization. So, do you understand the difference in three? Authentication is you are a valid student of this college. Fine. You are here. But you can enter in this room or you cannot enter in this room. That is authorization. That goes by the badge. Or you have a key code. Accounting, whatever activity you are doing in this college is recorded somewhere. That is accounting. So that is AAA. So this is now explaining what is authentication in 5 steps. It is explaining you authentication. Remember that for all the authentication, it is using a encryption. So because in order to authenticate you, there is an authentication server. authentication server. You submit your login here, it goes to your authentication server, it says yes, this person is valid. So you must read it, and there is a video, there must be some, you can find some videos based on this. There are different types of algorithms we are using, and some of those algorithms are mentioned here: SHA-0, SHA-1, SHA-2, SHA-3, or SHA. SHA, secure hash algorithm. What is hash? Hash is nothing but the code. Encoded information. Secure hash algorithm. Encoded information. These are using different bits of algorithm. So you just learn more about it from some. So this is what it is trying to do. Basically, you are presenting your credentials to your machine. For example, here, listen, you log in every day. Every day you come to the class, you log into these machines. I come here, I log in here. What this does, what it does. So the moment I put my login ID and password, it captures that information, encrypt that information using one of the algorithms. Let's say it is using SHA-4 or SHA-3. Encrypt that information, send it to the server. Server will check if my user ID password matches in the database. Check that information. If the information is valid, send a token, create a secure token and send it back to the machine. So now the machine has that token. Every time you are trying to use some service from this college like Wi-Fi or website, or even the website, when you go to the website, the same thing happens. Okay, so that token is issued by the server. So it is, let's say you are working on your laptop, you put the user ID and password, it goes to the server issues a token to your machine, to your browser. So now your browser has the token. Now you will access, you are trying to access the Blackboard, you are trying to access the SharePoint, you are trying to access OneDrive. It is going to use the same token with all these services. It is going to use the same token with all the services. This is the token, this is the token, and based on that token, and this token contains the policy information also, because server has provided that information to it. So that is the authentication. So after authentication, what I'm trying to explain you, this authentication plus authorization. Now in the authorization, your browser will use this token and take it to the all services, and services will authorize you based on the token information. You are authorized. You cannot see all the courses which are running in this college. You can only see those courses where you are enrolled. I can see only those courses which I am teaching, and all is happening because of this token. And that is called role-based access control. Role-based access, RBAC, RBAP, role-based access policy, role-based access control, and all those. Then accounting. Accounting is basically your, it says separation of duties, where it is going to refer the division of labor that ensure no one person can single-handedly compromise the security of data, finances, or other resources. Then certain privileges, responsibilities distributed to multiple people, and a log file. So everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. Event viewer. Did I show you this event viewer before? This event viewer application records everything we are doing in a system. So when a single desktop is recording everything, then imagine what server can be recording. This is all the steps, all the activities recorded. This is log on. See that log on? Here's the information about the log on. Who logged in? Account name, account domain, logon ID, and you can see more information about it. And you can copy this information. Now Microsoft has this. I don't have that software, and even you don't have, but you can take this information, and there is a software developed provided by Microsoft for security management. You can take this information and put it in that software, and it will give you more detail about the information of that event happened. If I, let's say, copy it and note that, and then so this information, if you take this information and put it in that software, it will give you more detailed insight of this information. Okay, so I can track all the events here which are happening. That is a special logon. There is a special logon. Group membership. This was the group membership event. So you can see every time I'm logging to these systems, it is recorded by the system. So you can't hide anywhere. Now you may say that, oh, these events are recorded here. How everyone need to check all the computers. So because I'm using an account which is provided by the college. So every time I use that account, it will be recorded at a central server also. So don't say that it will not be recorded anywhere. SSO. SSO stands for single sign-on. Now whenever I log in, I can access all these applications. Can I access all the applications using one login? So this is called single sign-on, where I can use one account to log in to all these applications. Even I can use my single sign-on to access the Cengage. Even I can use single sign-on to access the CompTIA account. Do you? Because you can access CompTIA courses also. So everything is connected to one account, and that process is called single sign-on. And you also use 2FA or MFA. What is 2FA, MFA? Do you use any of this? How?
Password biometric.
Password biometric. In your GTC account, do you use MFA?
Yes. Yeah.
What is that?
Okta Verify.
Okta Verify, right? So these are something which is very common, but we don't know that this is what actually. I sometimes say that we don't know what we don't know. Right? There are many things in this world which we don't know, but we don't know that we don't know. That's a very simple fact. So we need to know what we don't know, and then we need to try to find out the answer of that. Okay, something you know, such as password, PIN, biographical data, something you have, something you are, somewhere you are, something you do. These all things are very normal for us, but for the security point of view, these all things are very crucial. A security token, that is something I was trying to explain you here, and this token is something which plays an important role in this entire IT industry for the security point of view. And there are systems, and companies have developed a system to secure the token itself. If a token is issued to me, but Richard has had that token, what he can do with that token? He can do whatever I can do with my token, now he can do that. So this type of thefts is also happening, or this type of acts are also happening in the industry these days, where they capture the token issued to someone else. Okay. Directory services. What is directory services? AD, Active Directory in Windows, OpenLDAP, 389 directories. These are the various or different types of directory services provided by different vendors. Active Directory is by Windows, so you know what it is. Search for them, for these Active Directory services on internet and learn more about it. We are using these services, but again we don't know. We are using on daily basis. Here in the college also we are using one of these services. Kerberos is a cross-platform authentication protocol that uses key encryption to verify client identity to securely exchange information. Why it is important for you to know about Kerberos? Because if you are a cybersecurity student, you are going to need this information in future. Without that, it is not possible for you to make it secure or do the investigation later. These are the various terms which are related to the Kerberos, right? These are just given or provided here for you to know about it, just to know. Keep them in your mind. Yeah, I have read about it. Detail will come later. In the later courses, you will get more detail about these terms. Radius is another similar type of service which is called remote authentication dial-in user service. Right? Remote authentication. Now you notice what is the name is? Remote authentication dial-in user service. Means in order to identify yourself, you are using a remote server for that. It can operate as an application on remote access server on dedicated. So if you are not in your network, not near your network, but you want to connect to the network, then we use the radius types of services, such as VPN. VPN is one of the example of radius actually. Terminal access control system plus or TACACS plus is offered to the option of separating authentication, authorization and auditing capabilities. Separate. Keep them different from each other. Managed by different application providers. Third party IDPs or identity providers. Means there is someone else who is providing you identity, and then using that identity, I'm going to use other services. Have you heard about this service called ID.me? Have you heard about this? Do you have account on this? If not yet or still do not have account, then one day you are going to have an account on this. I bet. Without that, no one in US can access government websites. Government website. Right now, are you doing job? No. Or you may be. But if you will do job and you are paying tax, you need this. If you have SSN and you would like to know your benefits, SSN account, you want to see your SSN account, you need this. So this is a system created by government which is providing you or which is verifying your identity, and then you can access all government resources. So it is a third party identity provider. Excuse me. Okay, let's take a break.
Sir.